What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Pro Football Talk. Today, we're going to get into the top wide receiver prospects of the 2021 NFL Draft. Yesterday, we did the quarterback prospects. So today, we're going to do the receivers, and then tomorrow, or no, not tomorrow. I think Monday, we'll get into the offensive tackles and guards, and then the day after, we'll do the running backs. So we're gonna go ahead and do the offense first, then we're gonna do the defensive side of the football. But let's get into the receiving prospects here, and we're gonna start off with Amari Rodgers. Um, you know, First off, I gotta say this is a pretty deep receiving class. It's hard for me to do a top 10 wide receiver big board, but I think Amari Rodgers cut it at 10 here. And he's great. Elite speed, lines up in the slot most of the time. But he's a decent route runner. And the most eye-popping attribute of his is the way he runs with the ball in his hands. He's super fast, and he's not easy to tackle. He moves like a running back. And what I would want to see from him in NFL offensive schemes are him lined up in the slot. I want to see him lined up on the outside because I think he has the capability of playing on the outside. And I'd like to see him at running back too, because a lot of people say how he moves like a running back, and if you watch his tape, he really does. And that's what makes him so hard to get tackled. So he's got really good balance for 5'9", 211. That's pretty good size. That's why he's not easy. A lot of people want to just see him go full-time running back, but, he's too good of a receiver. He's got great hands. You can't see him just move to a full-time running back. If you put him at receiving and running back, he'd do double the damage to people's defenses. So I think he's a great start here at number 10. And I got a third-round grade on him. It's pretty good. I think like a high third-round grade. Like I said again, his receiving class is pretty deep. So next up here, we're going to get into Monroe St Brown. I think his name's Cadarius St Brown of the Green Bay Packers. This is his little brother. I also got a third-round grade on him, but amazing. He's got great size. His contested catch ability is amazing. He can do it in the slot and on the outside. He tracks the ball well in the air, which is also really good for the NFL. And he's got great hands, as you can see here in this image. He got the one-handed catch. I think he did it all at USC. He showed that he's a complete receiver. He didn't do it at an elite level, but he's a guy that also did really well. Easily the receiver one of that USC team. And he's a pretty good pick here at number 9. I got him also going in early third round. You could argue, Amari Rodgers is better than Monroe St Brown, but for just receiving ability, I think Monroe St Brown is better at 6'1", 195, pretty good size to play at. Should translate well to the NFL, so it'll be exciting to watch there. Number 8, Elijah Moore. This guy's a threat on any opponent's defenses. Have to always game film for this guy. He's one of these another elite route runners. I'm pretty high on him. As not as much people would be high on him at number 8 on their big board for receivers, but I love him there, and I love him at the second round too. He plays with amazing toughness for a 5'9", 184. If you watch his tape, he doesn't go down easy. He'll put the pads down and he'll be ready to tackle. He'll break any tackle, right? And he's almost unstoppable running those quick slants. And he finds the open zone so well. He sits in that soft zone. It's easy throw from the quarterback, easy catch, and then he just goes. He's electric with the ball in his hands. He'll move, get those yards after the catch. Another one of those guys who's a really a more of a slot weapon, but I think can be played on the outside as well. He did it at Ole Miss. We'll see how he does in the NFL, but pretty good prospect here. I'm a lot higher, again, like I said, than other people are on Elijah Moore. Number 7, Rondale Moore. I got a second round grade on him. Injuries did hurt him, really did hurt his stock, because I do think he could have been a first rounder. When he has the ball in his hands, you gotta be on your go. You have to watch him. You watch wherever he moves. If he goes right, left, he's so shifty. I mean, when you talk about a shifty receiver, Rondale Moore is that type of guy. You know, and I think if he does stay healthy too, he could be one of those 1,000-yard receiving receivers, because he's got a great route running ability to him. He'll find that open zone, he'll catch it, and he'll also go for the yards after catch. It's kind of similar to Elijah Moore if you watch the two play. I think Elijah Moore plays a little bit more physicality than Rondale Moore, but I think Rondale Moore is a much more smooth receiver, much more fluid. And I think the teams might honestly, especially like Green Bay Packers, they could take a chance on him in the first round, because you see that great potential that Rondale Moore has. It's just an inability to play the whole season. You wish you could have seen it. Wish you could have saw more tape from him, because honestly, I do think he could have snuck into the first round. I mean, he still can, but he's more of a second rounder. People talk, and I also have a second round grade on him. So yeah, that's Rondale Moore. Number 6. Got Terrace Marshall Jr. from LSU. I got a second round grade on him as well. His elite ability to play at his size. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. That's going to translate well at the NFL. Always bigger receivers do translate most of the time, because, his ability to route run as well, it's not bad. But you talk about those contested catch abilities, the ability to move downfield at that size. He's a red zone threat as well, in my opinion. His speed isn't bad for his size either. People might harp on him for his speed, but I think after watching a little bit of tape on him, his speed is pretty good. But it's more of a vertical speed, in my opinion. When he gets into the post routes, it's not as quick, but that vertical ability, that vertical speed there is really good. And a team that does run a lot of verticals are the Kansas City Chiefs, so he could be a good fit there, but I don't think they're going to go with the receiver in the first round. They got a bunch of other needs they need there. But yeah, one of those early second round guys again. And people also are going to mention his drops in his last season at LSU. And, I'm not harping on him too much for it. The LSU offense this year was definitely not as close as it was to 2019. The best offense that year. And, but now, this year, no elite quarterback talent there. So I get it. And he did end up opting out midway through the season. But I don't think that hurt his stock too much. He kind of was a late first rounder in some people's mocks. Now he's been, moving to the second round more. I've always had a second round grade on him, ever since the start of the offseason. So, yeah, that's Terrace Marshall Jr. And number 5 here, we got Cadarius Toney, our first round grade player here. He's got 5'11", 189. He moves amazing. Moves like no other receiver in this draft, in my opinion. The ability to create that separation, and he makes it look so easy. And he's got a great route running ability. We did see a couple of drops at the Senior Bowl. I wouldn't be too hard on it. I mean, they were pretty easy catches. He created the easy separation, wide open, balls thrown to the numbers, but he drops it. With a lot of, if that happens in the NFL, it sucks, because it hurts a lot more than it would in college football. NFL means a lot more. But I think he'll definitely clean it up. He'll clean a lot of things up, and he'll be, he could be a top receiver in this draft, depending on the scheme fits, where he gets drafted. But he can line up on the slot. He can line up on the outside. Pretty much runs every route in the book. He does it to elite level. The only thing I kind of say on him as well is that he does tend to disappear on some plays. And but at the NFL level, he'll probably be more of a receiver too, working against cornerback twos. I think he'll play pretty solid, and that's why I give him a first round grade, because that ability to separate, and he just gets wide open, and it's so easy to make the throw. So Cadarius Toney's a good first round grade here. And number 4, we got Rashod Bateman, another first round grade. It's number 4 on my board. He's a bigger size receiver at 6'1", 210. He plays with that size. When he's downfield, you see those one-hand catches he makes. He is solid. I was also surprised that he didn't return to Minnesota. Or, sorry, that he declared for the draft last year. I'm surprised he didn't. He returned to Minnesota and played this year and did opt out midway through the season. And, I think he did return to Minnesota to become more of a complete receiver. We saw him lined up a lot on the outside in the 2019 season for Minnesota. And then this 2020 season, he played much more in the slot. And he played actually a pretty good level too. So you could say he's a weapon from the slot. I find him more of a weapon on the outside, lined up. But, he's pretty good in the slot too. So that's pretty good. And, he'll win 99% of the time on those one-on-one contested catches. He's a contest catch king. So he's good. There's no doubt about it. He's good. I see him as a late first rounder. People have him. Some people have Rashod Bateman not even mocked in the first round. I can't see that happening. He's got too much capability there. He's got too many abilities. To play in the slot, to play on the outside. Great hands, great contested catcher. Can run a lot of routes. So I have him in the first round here. And number 3, we got Jaylen Waddle. He is a first round grade. I see him going in the top 10. There's no doubt about it. I mean, electric with the ball in his hands. He's that yards after the catch kind of guy. He at Alabama, he did get thrown to on some deep field throws, but most of the time it was kind of those check down passes. But then you did see what he did with the ball in his hands. I mean, just moving around guys. You got to be on watch when he has the ball in his hands, because he can easily make it to the touchdown in just a couple of seconds. And he's fast. Talk about electric speed. He's got a great athleticism too. I mean, you saw him play in that finale in the national game for college football. He was playing with that fractured ankle. I mean, apparently he was healed. He was 80% healed, but it just did not look 80%. It looked like 50% more to me. He was hobbling around, but even so, he was hobbling around and he was still getting those catches, still running. You didn't see that electric playmaking ability because he's not moving as fast. But even still, he was still moving around guys. I think he got 1 or 2 catches that game. And you saw one catch went for a 20-yard gain or something. It was pretty good there to set him up in the red zone. But yeah, I can't see him go above Devonta Smith, but people are forgetting of what Jaylen Waddle did before he got that injury. He was that receiver 1 of Alabama. He was on top of Devonta Smith. And, I think it would have stayed that way had he not got the injury, but nothing you can do about it. But that made him the receiver 3 after the injury, and Devonta Smith took that spotlight. Yeah, and he's the next guy we're going to talk about, Devonta Smith, another top 10 first round grade kind of guy. But you do talk about the size, 6'1", 175. That's why he does have a little bit of a lighter frame. And, he did really well at the college level because of that athleticism of his, that smooth, fluid route running just somehow always makes him open. And he's got that subtle movement in his route running that catches the cornerback to jump, and then he'll beat him downfield. And you talk about a double move in the route from Devonta Smith. He's got the best in this class for sure, easy. And he was a Heisman winner for a reason. He got like 1,800 something receiving yards, most in Alabama history. I mean, he's just incredible. He does it all. The only flaw to his game that doesn't make him that complete receiver is the weight. He plays at 175. And if he didn't choose to weigh in at Senior Bowl, if he does choose to weigh in at the Alabama Pro Day, you're hoping to see a couple of pounds put on him, 10, 15 pounds. You'll even make it better, even 10, 15 pounds. But playing at 175, you got to watch for injury concerns too, because, NFL players, they don't take it lightly, and they play much more physical than college does. So he's going to have to learn that. But, I mean, he can doubt everyone if he plays at 175 and he plays at an elite level. I mean, he could go down. If he plays at 175 at an elite level, he could go down as one of the best receivers to ever play the game, in my opinion. So that's Devonta Smith. And our number one receiving prospect of this draft is Jamar Chase. First round grade, top 5 pick, easy. You talk about a complete receiver who has all the tools. That's Jamar Chase. 6'1", 208. He can move for that size too. I mean, you talk about the top of the route, quick feet to make the man miss, runs right by him, gets that catch. He's excellent at it. And when you see that at the top of the route, you're beating these guys. A lot more teams and defenses run press man coverage in NFL, and you see him. He always beats the press man, in my opinion. Sometimes gets caught up in the zone coverage, but when it's press man against Jamar Chase, you are not stopping this guy. He already looks like an NFL receiver playing at college last year in the 2019 season. He's got great balance, great hands, red zone threat. You can run those slants, you can run those out routes. Yeah, I mean, and the way he tracks the ball as well is better than any receiver. I mean, you could talk about Rashod Bateman, maybe, tracking the ball in the air downfield. These guys are both really good at it, but I think Jamar Chase has a little bit of the edge over him. And that's just another way to just explain how Jamar Chase, his game is so complete. You just can't wait to watch him play in the NFL. And I don't see him escaping the top 5. He's got way too much value to him to pass up the top 5 there. Well, that's not going to do it yet. We got one honorable mention I want to say. That's Jaylen Wallace. I got a 3rd round grade on him. He is pretty much neck and neck there with Amari Rodgers. I was really contemplating on putting Jaylen Wallace over Amari Rodgers, but I put Amari Rodgers over Jaylen Wallace because, Amari Rodgers, he can play in the slot, he can play on the outside, and he can play the running back position. He hasn't played it at Clemson, but I think he will definitely do it in the NFL. Jaylen Wallace is more of that guy who plays on the outside. I'm not sure. I didn't really see any tape of him lined up in the slot. He's more of that downfield runner. He's also one of those contested catch ability guys. And his hands are amazing. Plays with elite athleticism. He's a physical receiver. He's got all the tools as well. This is what I mean by a deep receiver class. It's so hard to choose outside of Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, and Jaylen Waddle. And Rashod Bateman. I put Rashod Bateman there too at 4. And after Rashod Bateman, you don't know where the draft class is going to go. You don't know where these receivers are going to end up because it's so hard to tell. So many good receivers in this class. I mean, teams, if they're needy for receivers, this is the draft to go get a receiver because you can even land a receiver 1, probably 3rd round, early 4th round. That's how deep this receiving class is. So, You saw him last year too. He looked. I thought he was gonna declare, but he ended up getting that injury to Alan Wallace, and I think that's what made him really want to come back to Oklahoma State to show that he is that receiver one and he has the ability to play receiver one. And he did. He came back and he showed it. I didn't think he had as good of a season as he had in 2019. As things were going. But, he definitely still showed out this year, and he showed out at the Senior Bowl as well. So that's what puts him in the early third round for me as well. And yeah, that is going to do it, everyone. Those are my top 10 receivers on my receiver big board as of right now. I got Talon Wallace neck and neck there with Amari Rodgers for 10, but I did end up putting Amari Rodgers at 10. Talon Wallace is just right behind him, though. So that's going to do it, guys. Like and subscribe, please, if you guys want to see this more NFL content. Tomorrow, I'm going to be coming out with the Super Bowl predictions. We're going to be going through the quarterbacks, running backs, O-line, and all that stuff. Who's got the better of it, and we're going to also be going through some bets, what you guys should be betting on. So that video should be fun tomorrow. So thank you for sticking around. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all that, and we'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Goodbye.